For well over a year, Brother and Baby Lock have been hinting at the idea of having a brand new machine to release in the fall of 2024. You all have been begging me to make a video, so here is that video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Cherie. Thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome. Baby Lock and Brother machines are both made in the exact same factory and are exactly the same except for differences in the external styling, the differences in licensed designs that come packed on the machine, and then you'll also find differences in the naming conventions that are used on these machines. Design wise, Brother has a special edition of this machine that is gray with some scallop designs on it. Then you have the navy blue version of the machine, which is kind of Brother's signature. On the Baby Lock side, there is a version of the machine that has more gold undertones to it, and I think that is also a signature of Baby Lock. In terms of built-in designs, Brother always includes Disney designs in addition to the standard ones built into the machine, and the special edition always has more Disney designs than the standard version. And I don't necessarily think that a lot of people really use the built-in designs on the machine a ton. I think that most people who get these embroidery machines tend to use their own designs, but I could be wrong. Baby Lock Radiance has a bit of a run-of-the-mill name, but once I look at the name of the Brother, Aveneer, I think, wow, because in French, the word Aveneer, even though it has a different spelling, means the future or a time to come. So what you can expect from these two offerings from Brother and Baby Lock are a lot of futuristic features that represent the future. Before I get into talking about all the futuristic features of this machine, let's go ahead and talk about the basic specs. This machine weighs in at a whopping 43.43 pounds. Its dimensions are as follows: 29.5 in width, 13.2 in depth, and 13.7 in height. This is an extremely large machine, which means that if you don't already have a big table, you're going to need to get one. You've also got an extension table for the back and an extension table that goes onto the side. And these things add additional weight to the machine. Also, you have a separate embroidery unit, and this embroidery unit adds more weight to the machine. It doesn't specify how much more weight is added to the machine with these things. It only says the carton weight for when you get all of this stuff in the mail, and the carton weighs 100 pounds. That is extremely large. So you're not going to be moving this machine anywhere because it is huge. The excuse for having such a large embroidery machine is the size of the harp space. The harp space on the Aveneer Radiance is 14 inches. That is double the harp space on a regular sewing machine. All of my standard sewing machines have a harp space of 7, and I believe most straight stitch quilting machines only have a harp space of 8 to 8.5. So you get double the harp space with the Aveneer Radiance. The maximum stitch length on the Aveneer Radiance is 5 millimeters. However, I do know that the vast majority of you all who are interested in either the Aveneer or the Radiance are quilters, and you guys, most of you anyway, have either a Juki TL series machine or a Janome, and both of those machines have a maximum stitch length of 6 millimeters. And I think that it will take some getting used to in order to use the 5 millimeter stitch length when you are basting, but it's really not going to make that much of a difference. The stitch width is where you will find the difference, however, because this machine has a maximum stitch width of 7 millimeters, and I think that that is a happy medium, because on your smaller sewing machines, most of those have a maximum stitch width of 5 millimeters. That is great for piecing, but not so good for stitching out stitch patterns because they look kind of scrunched. But then when you go over to the larger machines that have a 9 millimeter stitch width, then your patterns are nice and big where you can see them really well. However, when you try to go around tight corners when you're piecing or something like that, then it's much more difficult on a 9mm machine. That is why I say that the 7mm stitch width is a happy medium between those two sizes. Really, genuinely, everything about this machine is big. Even its LCD screen is pretty big. We have a 10.1-inch screen, and that is about the same as what you will find on the Viking Epic 3 and also on the Bernina 990. There's no disappointment when it comes to the embroidery work area either, because we have an 18 by 11 and 5/8 maximum embroidery hoop size. That is massive. It means that we can quilt edge to edge without making as many hoopings, and that is wonderful. This machine does not come with magnetic hoops, but it does have an easy to hoop system, which a lot of people are saying that they really enjoy. Aside from coming with the 11 by 18, you also get a 10 by 10 hoop, a 5 by 7, and the 4 by 4. And those are perfect sizes because I think those are the sizes that most people use. There's one other accessory that I really haven't heard a lot of people mention, and that is the foot control. The foot control is similar to what we saw on the Luminaire last year. It is a multifunctional foot control with 2 different sides to it, and you can set it to 6 different settings, meaning that when you back tap the foot control, you can set it to put the needle up or down. You can set it to do a single stitch. You can make it do a back stitch, or it can even make the presser foot on your sewing machine go up or down. And this just saves a little bit of time when you're sewing, not having to reach underneath the machine as much. Also, there is a small pad on the side there that you can use for cutting your threads, and you can also set that smaller pad to do different things as well. I won't bog you down with numbers because there are so many built-in embroidery designs and stitches inside of this machine. However, what I will say is that if you're not satisfied with the stitches that are built into the machine, you can go and use the Artspire app to create your own unique designs, or even download designs from online, and that is just perfect. When you type out words on this machine, you can now individually select each letter and change the font on each individual letter, or even be able to resize each individual letter. And that is wonderful for doing things like monogramming. That's something that we've been able to do on a regular computer since the beginning of time. However, now that it is built into the sewing machine, we no longer have to go over to our computer to be able to do something like that. Yes, it's convenient to have everything built into the sewing machine rather than having to have a separate computer. However, at the same time, when everything is all built into one unit, if you have a problem with one component of that unit, then you have a problem with the entire thing. So I'm still not so sure that I am really enthused about all of these computerized functions being built directly into the sewing machine. There is built-in Wi-Fi, as you will find on most sewing machines nowadays. However, they also include 2 USB ports just in case you would like to use your flash drive instead of using the Wi-Fi, and I think that is just wonderful. Aveneer Radiance is not only big in size, but also has a massive price tag. It is listed at $25,000. That is more expensive than the prices of any other flagship machine that I have spoken about this year. I will leave links to the other videos down in the description box below. Those machines include the Fab Creative Icon 2, Bernina 990, and also the Viking Epic 3. I am going to talk about the future features so that you can decide whether or not this machine is worth $25,000 or not. But before I do, please do take the time to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go on and subscribe. Also, you can help my channel out by sending me a super thanks or by just watching the commercials. The first future feature that I would like to talk about is a stitch regulator. For those of you who are unaware about stitch regulators, the stitch regulator just adjusts your stitch length according to how quickly or how slowly you move your fabric underneath the machine. This allows you to get even stitches every single time. The stitch regulator is not built into the machine, so you cannot use whatever foot that you want with this particular feature. However, the stitch regulator foot is adjustable and allows you to use 3 different attachments with it. The stitch regulator not being built into the machine is a bit of a downside because that stitch regulator foot is quite large, and I'd assume that you wouldn't be able to fit as much fabric underneath the presser foot with it attached. The next natural thing for me to mention is the projector on this sewing machine. Yes, this sewing machine does have a projector, and that projector projects an image that is 8 by 5 onto the bed of your sewing machine so that you can see what your stitch out will look like before it actually stitches out. You can also change the background color of the projection so that you can see what different fabric types and different fabric colors will look like underneath your design. And that is an amazing feature. While this is an amazing feature, I don't think that it's the highlight of it. The highlight of the projector is that the buttons also display around your image, and you can use your stylus to select things directly from that display rather than using the LED screen. And if you guys have seen my other video about the future of these sewing machines, you will know that I predicted that in the future the LCD monitor will be completely gone and that the images will be projected somewhere, maybe like on a wall or something, and that you will be able to select things on your sewing machines just by using gestures. And I think that this projector is one step in that direction by allowing you to actually select things from the projector rather than using the screen. Another added bonus of having the projector on this sewing machine are the guidelines that come with the machine. You can adjust the angle of those lines in any direction, so you can really mark out different things on the bed of this machine using the projector and be able to get very accurate stitches. And that's wonderful because gone are the days of using washi tape on the surface of the machine so that you can get a straight line. One of the main features that Baby Lock Brother is introducing with this model is the ability to have the buttonhole preview. The buttonhole preview allows you to project buttonholes out onto your project before they're actually stitched out. This means that you can adjust the spacing between each individual buttonhole and see what that will look like before it's stitched out on the garment or whatever it is that you're making. That is a wonderful feature. However, I do not know if that feature is worth $25,000. Some would justify the cost of the Brother Baby Lock machine by mentioning the picture play embroidery function. The picture play embroidery function allows you to import photographs and automatically convert them to thread art for stitching out on the machine. If you own embroidery software or you're just into digitizing, you will know that the picture play function has been available on embroidery software for many years now. It's just now that this machine has come out, is now built into the actual sewing machine. I'm not so sure that it's that much of a benefit to be able to do that directly from the sewing machine rather than using a separate computer. You can use filters on those imported photos that you can convert to thread art as well. That is a cool feature. At the same time, it can become a bit of a cliche when so many people start applying the same filters to their photos. Some of you will want to pass up the Aveneer Radiance because it has so many functions and features on it that you're unsure about if you would ever learn how to use all of those features. But this sewing machine has really thought of that because they have onboard tutorials and also a voice automated system that will walk you through how to do everything step by step. If I were to describe the Aveneer Radiance in one sentence, I would say that it is like a computer, embroidery machine, sewing machine, and long arm all built into one. This sewing machine kind of reminds me of the amazement that people had when the first Apple iPhone came out. Prior to that, we were using a iPod for music, a phone separately, and then we had a computer that we used dial up on in order to get on the internet, and we also had a separate camera. But this phone combined all of those things into one system, and we were amazed. But if we were to try to use that phone today, we would be very, very disappointed because it did everything, but it didn't do everything well. I feel that the same thing is true with the Aveneer Radiance. And you'll say, why, Cherie? This machine has so many awesome functions and features on it. Well, while it has a computer built into the machine, the computer is still not living up to what you can do with digitizing software. Also, you have an embroidery unit on the machine, but the embroidery part of the machine is single needle. So you're going to have to change out thread every single time that you want to change colors. And that's going to be a pain in the behind, especially when you are doing something like the picture play function, where you're going to have a picture that's going to have dozens of different colors in it. Also, the long arm part of the machine, while it does have the 14 inches of harp space, 14 inches of harp space is not 16. The average long arm has a harp space between 16 and 30. So you are losing out on that end too. Do I think that this is a wonderful machine? Yes, and it is at the cutting edge of technology, but I still think that we do have a very long ways to go before this technology all being combined into one is perfected. But guys, what do you all think? Do you think that the Aveneer Radiance is a machine that you would be interested in getting? If so, please let me know down in the comment section below, as I would love to hear from you.